So what are you hearing from sales teams that they want out of Salesforce in 2016, particularly as we become more mobile?
The mobile question is an interesting one. Salesforce ourselves, there were even several competing products where they focused entirely on mobile. We all made a big push into it, over the last few years, invested quite a bit of money. Salesforce put a lot of marketing muscle behind Salesforce One. The adoption and uptick in usage on mobile has not been what anybody expected. So, businesses in general, enterprises in particular, have been very slow to adopt mobile for productivity beyond just the basic functionality of, email and making phone calls. We're seeing that pick up, but it's been quite a shock to, I think, pretty much everybody, especially those companies where they only had a mobile offering. What I'm seeing is a greater focus on usability, and you see this from Salesforce themselves. They launched, they acquired RelateIQ and rebundled that and launched Salesforce IQ last year at Dreamforce. They're making a bigger focus on usability. You can see that with the new Lightning design, and so you're seeing a push into usability, and then a big piece of that is making all of this, data and intelligence actionable. So if you're solving the problem of adoption, you're actually getting the information into Salesforce that you want in there. Then the next question is, so what? What do you do with it? And so that's where you see, investments in analytics and, big data and, learning processes and stuff like that. And that's where, we're putting a lot of work into our end, helping build out some stuff for customers to be able to surface that valuable information and actually act on it. So those are the big trends that I think that you're going to see, over the, next year, up through the coming years.
I think that's a great point, and we're certainly seeing more and more of that. We're putting in more data every year or every 18 months than we have our entire lifetime into the cloud, into the world, and so that's great. But now what? What do we do with that? How does that change how we interact and how we, our decisions that we make? So that's awesome to hear. Along that lines, what type of reports, what are the biggest reports that people are looking for? That your clients particularly are looking for?
Yeah, I mean, that goes hand in hand with what I was just speaking about. So, we're putting a lot of effort into building out our analytics package. That's a free companion app to Cirrus Insight. Part of that is prepackaged reporting and stuff like that. So what our customers are really wanting to see is how well stuff is performing. So, email templates, how well are those templates performing from both an open standpoint, so that's really testing the subject line, then also from an engagement standpoint. So, which ones are people replying to, which ones are people clicking on links in. And so that's going to speak to the content in the email. So trying to figure out, what emails are working, what emails are not. Also looking at, performance of the different team members. So, whenever you start getting all of this data into Salesforce, then it can become a pretty good indicator of, how much effort people are doing and how effective that effort is. The other big ones are around email tracking. So again, it's one of those of, you sell somebody on email tracking and it's like, oh, that's really cool. I can see if somebody's opened my email or not, or when they've opened the email. But then, after you get over the initial kind of wow factor, it's, again, so what? What do I do with that? So helping them build out, some workflows and processes to identify, hey, these are the people that I need to target for additional follow-up because that initial message didn't get through for whatever reason. They never opened it or they never engaged with it. Or on the flip side, hey, this person's really engaged. They've opened this email a lot, or they're clicking on links in the email. So we need to prioritize this person for follow-up because they're clearly interested. They're clearly engaged with, the messaging and what we're sending. So these are prime targets for, additional follow-up. So again, it's all about, we're really good at helping customers get data into Salesforce, and that's really been our primary mission for the last few years. Now we're seeing ourselves really kind of pivot to, becoming, instead of just a technology solution that helps make Salesforce more usable, to really becoming a sales solution. So, not only getting the information into Salesforce, but, making that actionable so that, they can actually do better and actually close more deals and be better at sales.
No, that sounds great. So it's not just is what I'm doing working, but is it of the ones that are working, who do I talk to first? How do I prioritize my day? How do I make sure that I make my time most efficient? And all the data is there. So now it's just getting it to them in a format that they can use to make their day, well, really to manage their day.